I would defer to the attorney on that.
There's certain advertising, and I can only go by the North Miami Beach contract, and they have prohibited certain subject matters such as tobacco, firearms, massage parlors, adult bookstores, so forth and so on. So there is a list that you can negotiate to restrict the type of advertising that goes on in display. But other than that, any professionally designed commercial advertising would be then allowed.
Okay.
No, you say we
Who's
can.
gonna do the maintenance? Pick up the
He
garbage?
said they will.
Or they will, you will
We
pick up
pick
the
up the
garbage?
garbage, because if we have a ad on the top of the garbage bin, you know, for our customer, it's not nice if you see overload the garbage bin, and we keep that situation. You know, we never have one bin overload. And with the cities, the public works, they call us because sometimes you have a people, you know, put in the bin a box or something, and look that is overload, and they call to us in less of 2 hours. We pick up everything and clean everything.
Thank you.
Well, at first, you know, that was way before Alim left, you came to me and made a presentation about this a possible venture. My main problem, and again, I'm a co-sponsor of the item, but we still have to be objective here. The artistic look of the actual ads, you know, I have a problem with it because we are in an era where we are trying to sell North Miami as an art, you know, city, art-driven city. And we even have resolutions about, you know, art in public places and so forth. You know, Mocha happens to be, you know, our jewel, and that's the way we market it. But I don't see that. I don't see the design of your ads, you know, really being part of our campaign to really market North Miami as an art-driven city. That's one of my problems. And as far as the money is concerned, $11,000 it's really not a revenue for us. It's really not. I would entertain it, you know, only if, you know, if the revenue would be more substantial, that would actually make a dent, you know, in our revenue. And the other, to add to this, to the money factor, I think it would be, before we decide, you know, how much to charge you, we would have to know how much your revenue would be. Because if you're making $1 million a year, giving us 11,000 would not be a plausible way to go. So we would have to charge you based on what you make. That's and of course we have to be fully engaged in the types of advertisement, and we already went over that, and we can come up with a list of restricted advertising that should not be part of, you know, our program. And also the design. I mean, the design, we have to partake in the designing portion of it. Because we can't allow any type of advertising with red, blue, yellow, gray, whatever, and written in, you know, we just have to be part of it. So moving forward, I think, hold on 1 second. Moving forward, because we are asking all of the things that I just mentioned and mentioned by other council persons on the dais, it may not be a bad idea to table this item pending the presentation of all, you know, that we actually asked for. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Questions for staff. What is the primary function of these cans? Revenue or garbage collection?
The primary function would be garbage collection, sir.
I'll pledge District 1 money right now from my fund to put garbage cans at all locations noted here in this presentation so that none of them have any type of advertising. If we need to just collect garbage, you have my money.
And I will do the same.
Secondarily, why was this project not bid? How is it that we came to just make a direct agreement with the gentleman before us, the organization in front of us? Why didn't staff bid this item out?
In the procurement code, it is my understanding, well, I'll let Rolly go ahead.
If I may, Councilman Galvin, although we could put it out and bid for it, we don't have to, because the statute allows an exemption for these type of bins actually to be procured without a bid.
Why would that be allowed? Explain to me it further. Why is this allowed to be not bid?
Why would it be allowed in the Florida statutes?
Right, is there something in our rules that say garbage cans don't have to be
No,
bid?
it's the
Is it
Florida
dollar-
statutes.
No,
actually.
Mr. Attorney, what about piggybacking? I mean, if it's piggybacking, so you don't have to put out. for a
Right,
bid.
This
piggyback.
isn't
And-
piggybacking, sir.
Huh?
This is a piggyback.
Yeah, this is not piggybacking. We could, but we don't have, the city does not have to. The city could procure this openly if it wanted to. It doesn't have to. The
So-
statute allows without bidding,
Mhm.
a contract with your approval.
So what is it then that's allowing this? The dollar threshold, or could we award a $5 million contract without bidding it?
The statute does not limit any amounts. It's pretty much open.
So that answer is yes then. Florida
Yeah.
statute allows us to award theoretically a $5 million contract without any type of bidding.
For this type of procurement, yes. And
What makes this type of procurement?
I could only speculate why the Florida legislature would allow this type of
But-
procurement.
Okay, but you keep saying this type of procurement. Do you
Uh,
mean any procurement, or is this a special type of procurement that's
It's-
falling under some threat?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
what is that then, please?
The bins with advertising, precisely what this gentleman is offering the city, that is exempted.
Okay.
May I-
Next
I'm
question, if I
sorry, go
might.
ahead. No, go ahead.
We've already established the garbage collection is the main priority of these cans. Is there no garbage in districts 3 and 4? Because
No.
there are 12 bins being proposed here tonight. 6 of them are in District 1, 4 of them are in District 2. 8 of them are on Biscayne Boulevard. There's 1 that's in District 3 and 1 that's in District 4. Please don't tell me that this is about garbage and not about money, because we know the traffic volume that's going down Biscayne. Come back to me, please, when you've got equitable distribution of your garbage cans throughout the city, and not when you're concentrating on the demographic
No,
of traffic
no.
that you're going after.
But in the same area that you have is commercial area, you have more people that walk, because in the presentation,
Are you familiar with Northwest 7th Avenue?
no, but let me explain one thing. All presentation that we did, and have the same problem. The first thing, we are the sole source, because we are the only company that build this sign. For that, before I explain that we make all circle of the business, For us, it's a business. For the city, is one income. Now you have a garbage bin, and that garbage bins, you now offer to pay for the garbage bins on your area.
Right.
But we, to the city, try to take out from the budget, that problem to pay for the garbage bin. And we bring the service because you have a cost too. The area that we use, if you want to make advertising, you want to make advertising in the area that is commercial area.
But Northwest 7th Avenue is a commercial area. There's 1 there.
No,
West Dixie Highway is a commercial
we-
area.
we
There's
choose-
1 there.
We choose only 12 location, and are no definitive location.
But you truly want me to believe that by coincidence, 8 of your 12 locations are on Biscayne Boulevard
no,
because there's no
this-
traffic and no trash
No,
anywhere else?
No.
I- we're- I'm not-
I follow you,
Right.
and I understand what you say.
Right.
But we choose that area because you have a people that work in that area, and it's commercial area, and it's good for our company, but it's good for the city, because the people that work there put the garbage.
I'm glad to hear you say
on
it's
the
good for
sidewalk.
your company,
It's just
because
that-
if you were really looking at the issue of trash collection, you'd have 4 in each district or something along those
We
lines.
can relocate, if you see the pictures, in the pictures is not the location. We can relocate. We need to talk continue talking with Public Works, with traffic, to see the best place for the city.
Mr. Manager, then with that being known, I'm pledging my District One funds for any garbage cans you so need, so that they can be straight up garbage cans without
Yeah, but
advertisement.
let's finish with
Okay,
this
may I-
item
may I-
first.
I know, but
Mr.
I'm just making it clear, I don't want these in District One, I don't want them anywhere, but if the others want to, I'll go along with it, it's just, but this whole, the whole
Okay.
presentation is flawed.
You
Mr.
may-
Mayor,
you
can I
may
say
just-
just
Miss-
mention just
Wait,
something?
let
Do you
me
want to
finish.
yield,
Yeah.
do you want to yield to,
I'll listen to you.
No, and Councilman Galvin asked about an RFP. It wasn't an RFP. It's a company who offer a free service to the city. The city is not spending a dime. It's not like we put a contract out there or we just select the company. We did not select the company. The company bring something to the city. If we want it, we said, okay, we're gonna take the advantage. If we don't want it, we say we don't want it. But it's not like staff would decide to bring a company and give them a contract. It's not the case.
I'd like,
It's a company who bring a service,
okay.
a free service to the city.
go ahead, Councilwoman.
Thank you. I really do not want these 4 bins in my city, and I was also going to offer $4,000 a year to make up for the lost revenue we wouldn't be receiving. I have discretionary funds. You all have come up with this idea of these bins. 4 of them are in my district, and 6 are in Councilman Gallen's district, who I have not spoken to, but I see he does not want them either. So for 2 council members down there, each to get 1 garbage can and inflict our districts, I think they're in our district, I think you shouldn't be shoving these garbage cans, bins, whatever they are, in our district. We want to keep, neither of us want it. I know the constituents don't want it. I've spoken to people months ago. We've had this discussion. I'm really asking that you do not vote to put these in my district.
Okay,
And just, I want to throw this out, just in case you just won't listen and you're going to put garbage cans in my district and you don't have any, I want to make sure that these bins are a minimum of 6 to 12 inches away from any sidewalks, because they're not in North Miami Beach, because people walk, I ride my bicycle on the sidewalks. Our sidewalks are very narrow. You can't navigate now between light poles, garbage cans, bus benches, and I want to make sure that these, and I spoke to this gentleman before, I want to make sure these bins don't come anywhere near our sidewalks to infringe upon people using them. And I'm looking at pictures. I don't see where they're going
do
to
you
put
want to
them.
say anything
But
else?
Yeah,
please,
the-
not in my neighborhood,
What
not
I
in
was
our
gonna
district,
say, and
not
I-
in our city.
What I was gonna say, I didn't check exactly the locations. And I even thought you were gonna put, we were gonna have maybe use 6th Avenue or Dixie Highway and for those garbage can. And, but like you said, and I think you said the location can be renegotiated.
I mean, yeah,
Is it
it's always,
correct?
always up to us to.
Is
to-
the location, that's been, and each council members can decide, let's put it there and pick the locations. And I don't think the location is a
But the
problem.
company is not going to agree to it, as Councilman
If they
Galvin
don't
said.
agree with it, it's staff.
No,
Because
it's-
they have
because
to
the
pull a
coun-
permit, right?
The company doesn't want them on 6th Avenue, they want them on Biscayne Boulevard, they want them
That's
in
where
front
they
Oh.
of
make
City
the
Hall.
revenue.
We, I have a meeting with you, and we're talking about this, and you're talking the same that we tell you.
Same thing we discussed about a year ago.
But we never talk, you know, that we can install on 6th Avenue, 7th Avenue. We made the new presentation, and you see the new pictures. In the new pictures, you have in 7th Avenue and 125,
We have-
you have 135 and 6th Avenue, but that is a sample of the location.
If you want to
It's
put
not
them in
the
there, if
end
you want to put them
location.
on 6th Avenue, Northwest 7th, and the council people
Look,
want them in their
We can
districts.
continue to
I'm-
see the
I'm willing-
place, you
I'm
know.
willing to, if they want to do that in their district, I'm willing to go along, but I don't want them in my district on Biscayne Boulevard. I don't want them in front of Whole Foods, I don't want them in front of the Keystone Shopping Center, and I
Okay,
really don't want
Okay,
one
we're
in
not
Local
going
Plaza.
anywhere with this by doing this back and forth. But what I'm sensing is that every time we come with those kind of items, there is always my district, your district, his district. But I'm waiting for the day, for the time when we have items that we are discussing, that we don't keep splitting North Miami into pieces, because it's a city. When I go to Boston and anywhere that I go, I don't say that I live in District 2. I say I live in North Miami. So to say that, you put them in your district, you keep them in that district, I mean, that's not showing a unity. So, well, of course, we can always give, directions to staff, as to how to proceed and what kind of requirement we should be, asking for, and I think it's a much better way to really go about it. And as far as tabling the item and asking for more information or more negotiations, I don't know.
Mr. Mayor, I would like at least for us to have some of these things worked out before I feel comfortable with voting, if possible. If not, if we're gonna vote tonight, it's fine, but I would really prefer that we get a lot of these things
Okay.
on the way.
So make a
What
motion.
happened?
I would like to make a motion, we get these things worked out. We move the item, what Councilman Galvin said earlier, move the items to the next. Would that give you enough time, Mr. Manager, to get with the company and work out some,
For a PowerPoint presentation?
for something, well, we have a lot of questions. I
Okay.
mean,
Yes.
opposed to,
With
you
all
know,
of
the
the
distribution.
questions that were brought up this evening, I will sit down with staff, and we will get the answers to all of the questions, and work on possible locations to be, reviewed by this board. I can do that by the 23rd.
Keeping in mind that our signs don't have to look as funky as the ones from North Miami
Yes,
Beach.
keeping that in mind, sir, the
Yes.
artwork that you did mention, yes, sir.
So Mayor, at this point, I have a motion made by Councilman Desmond to table this item till further notice. Do I have
To
a
the next agenda?
To the next
Agenda, right?
meeting, next agenda.
So,
Mhm.
if you're gonna
Yeah.
have enough time, would you, sir? Okay.
so I have a motion from Councilman Desmond to table this item till the next council meeting. Do I have a second to that
Second.
motion? That motion was seconded by that motion was made by Vice Mayor Desmond. That motion was seconded by Mayor Joseph. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion was approved with a 5-0 vote.
Okay, at this time, Citizens Forum is open. Anyone who wants to talk about any issue whatsoever, please come to the mic.
Thank you, Commissioner, for your time.
Thank you very much. Citizens Forum is still open.
Good evening again, Annie Montgomery, 2082 Laurel Lane. That was a great discussion. And I agree with the mayor on districts. This is one city, and I believe that everybody should be looking out for the whole city. And I think most of our council are, or I believe that's the intention, but the mayor is the mayor of the whole city, and I believe every vote that each one of you make or decide on, each decision that you make up there affects all of the whole city. Affects all of us, whether it's an up or a down vote. So I would agree thoroughly that this is one city. Let's stop the districts. In fact, let's get rid of the districts. That would be great.
That would be the day.
So, yeah, no, it happened many years ago, so have a great evening, and thank you for the discussion. Bye.
Thank you. Citizen Forum is still open.
Mike McDermott,
Don't talk
840.
about power.
Pardon?
Don't talk about power.
Well, I am. I just wanted to thank the mayor and the council for their support of the mayor's gala this past Saturday.
Second annual.
And it was a wonderful, wonderful event. We can't express our thanks enough to everything that the city council and the mayor, and Mayor, thank you very much for your very generous donation at that event. And also I want to thank staff and everyone in connection with this wonderful gala that raised some significant money for the Brains and Beauty program for the young ladies residing in North Miami. So again, just a thank you. This is typical of the current mayor and council and the many, many things you do to support this community. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
evening once again. William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. Earlier today, my wife was online and came across, I guess, a Facebook posting. And there was an exchange. And I guess someone made one comment about something that was going on in the community, and another comment went on. And then there was a comment made, oh, you and your husband are just disgruntled because Bill, me, didn't get a job with Oleta Partners of Biscayne Landing. And I, at first it didn't mean too much to me. And then I realized, I really wonder if anybody, if that falsehood has been passed along. Now, the falsehood came from Evan Ross. Carol, your former campaign manager, and when you sold the land to Biscayne Landing, he was their lobbyist, I believe. He was over here celebrating. Now, I'd like to make it very, very clear. I did a lot of work on that project. A lot of work on that project. My plan is a whole lot damn better than what they're coming now 2-3 years later, and they still haven't met my standard. But everybody says, hey, it's looking good. Yeah, they keep on making it look good, but it's still not as good as what we had, because everything that was good for our city, they took out, and they kept everything they want. Now you have your strip mall parking in the center of this entire complex. But I had to make it very clear that never once did I request, was I offered, did I imply anything about getting any money from this project or any other project in the city, from Oleta Partners, from anybody else. To back that up, I will offer, I would take under oath, whatever it might be, with calibration, that I am not lying to this. I am very serious. I'm very disturbed by it. And every bit of this work, and I spent about a month just coming together with the plan. I spent a lot of time trying to have the city not get taken on the sale of this property. By the way, I'm not too sure. We sold this property. I'm too sure what happened about the contaminated fill. But I hear from Evan Ross that that's not an issue. I thought that was the entire issue. And at some point, someone went, la, 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 I don't want to hear it, because that is the issue. We're going to get this contaminated fill off, and there's nothing else to this. We lost out on a lot of money. The only time, let me clarify, that I did approach the city was when all this was going down. I said, this city needs a design advocate, and if you make me like a city clerk kind of status, I would represent this city.
Thank you, Mr. Prevotel.
And for whatever the cost of a design clerk, whatever's, I would have saved the city tens of millions of dollars.
Thank you, Mr.
And it's
Prevotel.
shameful. Thank you.
Citizen Forum is still open? I'm ready for one more, one last one, just like the last one.
Close it, let us go. Close it so we can.
Come on.
No, just close it.
No,
Let's close it. I gotta eat.
Come on, it's too early. Come on, I'm not used to this.
Please.
Going home this early? Nobody wants to volunteer?
No.
See,
No.
Please, let's close it. Come on, let's not do this, guys.
Citizen
come on.
Forum is now closed. Council reports?
No reports.
No reports?
Mr. Mayor, I want to start by saying a great thank you to everybody involved with that PAL Gala, the Mayor's Annual Gala, second annual there at the Desert Museum this past weekend. It surpassed 1,000 times what I suspected or expected the event to be. So everybody at NMPD, everybody involved with PAL, from the board, Mike, on down to the mayor and his assistants. It was a tremendous event. That setting, if you guys have not been inside the Desert Museum yet, please clear your weekend calendar and go out there. What an astoundingly great facility that is, with lots of fun things to see. I just can't get over it. I actually came in thinking it was going to be hors d'oeuvres and I'd be out in half an hour, and it was a magnificent dinner in a beautiful setting, and everybody is to be thanked for that.
And a
It's really
handsome
nice.
looking mayor.
And a handsome looking mayor. I'm going to throw out one idea, or maybe one or two ideas. Obviously, we're in the midst of our city manager selection process. We haven't set a date by which we expect to make a decision. I know I'm still interviewing candidates through this week, so I would throw out that we potentially look to make a decision either February 23rd or our first meeting in March. And secondarily, I think it would be a cool thing if we somehow brought back top 4, top 5 candidates for public interviews here with all 5 of us at the same time. I've interviewed 8 of the 10 finalists now, and 3 or 4 are pretty astounding. They're pretty great. I think
10 finalists?
yeah, there was 11 originally, and then
Yeah,
Miss
11.
Austin dropped out, so there's 10 now. So I've interviewed 8 of the 10. I've got 2 more interviews to go. But it's going to be hard to make a decision as to who my number 1 choice would be. We've done it in the past, so I'll just throw out the idea now in case anybody else likes it. What if we have either a special meeting before the next meeting or somewhere before we make the final decision, top 4, top 5 here in the room, and they field questions from us in front of everybody as a group? Because what Councilman Biename might ask might be something different than Councilwoman Keys might ask, and because we've all interviewed them privately one-on-one, we haven't got to hear some of their different answers they might give in different settings. So I would throw out a final 4, final 5 public interview, followed by a selection sometime February or March.
You want me to go?
No,
Yeah, I'm just
no,
throwing
it's
that out.
report. You know, we're doing
No.
reports.
No, that's what I'm saying. Del Valle.
City manager, about the city attorney's position, when you gonna close that?
No, it's closed on the 6th.
The post solicitations close on the 16th. The
Okay.
RFP and the job announcement that was advertised through personnel.
Okay, and what's next after that?
Once it closes on the 16th, we'll immediately get the list together, and the list will go out to the council people. And I would look for direction from you. Once I do send the list out to you, we could work with you guys immediately to schedule interviews. But whatever the body should choose, will look to send all of you the information, and I could have the mayor and council staff work with you to schedule your interviews, immediately.
Like
or
before the next council, or how?
the next council meeting is on the 23rd, so you're talking the following week. But we can do that if that's what the board so chooses.
You're talking about 1 week prior to the council?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. And let me publicly thank the NOMI neighbor. They bring to my attention about 189 pages of document about pesticide. And they want mayor and council to ban the use of pesticide in the entire city. And I'm reviewing it, and I think staff is working on it to see what is the next move. But publicly, I want to thank Nomi Neighbor and Laura Hill for the documents that have been brought to my attention. Thank you very much. And
Okay.
that concludes my presentation.
Sure. Well, Mr. Mayor, as the honorary chair of the Black History Committee, we have a fantastic lineup of stuff happening. And one of our major signature event, it's gonna happen before our next council meeting on the 23rd. So I'm inviting
23rd.
the 23rd is our council meeting, correct?
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
so,
Okay.
yeah, our signature event is scheduled for Saturday, February 20th at 5 p.m. It's gonna open, it's a free, open to the public, and
90% chance.
90% of,
rain.
no, see, he's bad, so bad, no. So, no, it's not gonna be rain. But it's a free event, open to the public, and we are inviting everyone. Headliner gonna be Jacket Edge. That's around my age group. Of course, Carol, if you, CeCe Peniston, as well as Chubb Rock, gonna be the co-host and a host of local artists that's gonna be here. And these are international, these are R&B recording artists. It's gonna be a free concert in front of the police station, and we're gonna start advertising it this week. In reference to Councilman Galvin's suggestion, my question is, how would we determine the top 5 or 4? Because if we have 11,
True. Well, I mean,
You
I'd
know.
hate to say do all 10 of them,
No,
but,
no,
you
no.
know, I was looking for something that allowed, because otherwise it's just sort of, there's no perfect way of doing it, but
Yeah.
it's gonna get a little complicated here, and I'd love to hear more from the candidates. You know, I don't have a perfect answer for you right there. Do we all submit a top 2, top 3, and then any shared names
Well,
get brought
well,
forward.
top one at this point.
Well, that's the thing. I honestly, of the 8 I've interviewed, 4 could do the job, and I still have 2 more to interview. 4 are like, wow. And so,
Yeah.
but when I'm sitting with them one-on-one, they could be telling me what they know from Googling me, what I want to hear, and so that's what they're saying to me, and then they're telling you something
did their
different, and,
research.
you know, that kind of thing. So I thought a public discussion might winnow it down a little bit more.
Do you want to bring the people in from out of town? I'm assuming some. they
Are
might
we
not
doing
be
reports
local.
or we doing a
Yeah,
discussion?
part of the
It
reports, I
became a
guess.
discussion.
Sure,
Part of
I'm
the-
sorry.
We should talk about it.
You
This
brought
is
up,
it.
This is the only time you can discuss it.
Yeah,
so.
this is it.
We had 60, now it comes to 10.
Yeah,
Now, do you
And
you
then we
saying
got-
all the 10?
All
okay.
the 10.
Well,
Are you,
next meeting.
are you finished with your report?
No, sir, almost done.
Go
Can
ahead.
we have both the manager and I'll request we put the manager and the attorney on the next meeting? Okay.
Well, we can't put the attorney on the next meeting, because if it closes on the 16th, there's no way, I don't know how we're gonna winnow. If there are 60 people who apply on the 16th, my boss has been incredibly lenient thus far. I can't interview 60 people between, you know, February 16th and February 23rd. So now
But we
I'm
don't
just-
know how many we're gonna.
We don't know
How
how
many do
many-
we have so far?
It's it's when you talk about firms, you can't
Yeah,
put a number on it because everybody will submit their proposals at the last minute.
and some of
Oh,
them
okay.
might,
They're
we
working on
already,
it, so,
probably already
yes.
talked to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we cannot do them concurrently. I mean, it has to be one after the other. I mean, it's just gonna be two.
But we can do both at the same time, the
You
same
say
night.
No.
Our
that-
first council of March. Let's schedule for first council of March, we're gonna do both. Gonna be more, it's gonna be easy, and in one day, we pick up our city manager and our city attorney.
Okay.
Let's do, I'm for the manager on the 23rd. And then attorney after.
So we're gonna drop the idea of any type of final group interviews. We're just gonna pick from the final 10 on February 23rd.
No.
No, we're
let's-
gonna.
No, I said,
Okay,
from what I said, from my perspective, I would like to vote on both in one day. The city attorney was first, and then the city manager, because, and we have been working on the city attorneys way before the city manager, and I think I would be more comfortable if we have both in one day, one council meeting.
yeah,
And
but
we
the
know-
process for the manager is ahead of the one for the city attorney. Because the city attorney's process started afterward.
No,
after the
understand that.
manager.
Like me, I'm gonna start my,
Mm.
I wanna interview all 10, and I think tomorrow I'm gonna sit down with you and I'm gonna give you my schedule and see, and if you can set up the interviews, and I don't know, I think it would be better if we do both in one day. I don't know, but it's up to the council.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Mayor, since we're sort of needing some direction. I'll make a motion that we.
I haven't had my report yet.
Sure,
So
okay.
what
I'll-
which order are we going?
I was just trying to provide some guidance. I'll fall back.
Oh, go ahead, well, go ahead, I'll yield to what.
I was just gonna suggest that, I was gonna make a motion that we choose the city manager's position on February 23rd and choose the city attorney's position on March the 8th.
I'll second that.
I have a motion made by Councilman Galvin, and the motion is this: motion to choose the city manager on February 23rd and the city attorney on March 8th. That motion was made by Councilman Galvin, and it was seconded, or it was second, by Mayor Joseph. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed?
Nay.
Item passes 3-2 with Councilman Bieneme and Vice Mayor Desiree voted no. So this item passes 3-2.
Okay, My report has nothing more than the PAL Gala. Like Mike said earlier, it was a wonderful event, and it was very classy. And I really, we have no credit to this. I mean, we know that PAL and other staff, you know, are the ones who actually worked hard to put it together. And thank you very much, Katya and Ms. Serafin, who's not here, as well as, you know, PAL's, you know, staff. You did a wonderful job, and I hope that you continue to surprise me every year. That way you will have me as your mayor for a lot of time to come. So, but it was a wonderful time, and it was all for a good cause. And so we encourage. It's not just a party, like I stated in my speech. It's a time, you know, to reflect, you know, how we can be more productive as a city, looking after our youth, to really engage them in positive things and keep them away from juvenile delinquents and any other problems. So, of course, I did pledge to, out of my personal money, to give $1,000 to PAL. And I urge each and every one of you out there to, you don't have to do the same, but you can actually give more. So, and in addition, well, and we know that we took PAL out of the CBO funding program so that we could allocate the money from other sources to give to them. So PAL is ours, and we have to help them. We have to be there for them. With that, I say thank you very much for listening, and thank you for coming, the audience, and we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
Council staff report.
Oh,
We're not adjourned. We're not adjourned, guys. We're not
we are
adjourned.
not adjourned. City Attorney, report.
I have none for this evening, thank you.
City Manager.
No report, but I would like to recognize the Budget Department, who was the department that was in the building this evening, and thank them for their hard work on the presentation this evening.
Mr. Clerk. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
All right.